every day we have a yard sale like this. All of our tools, all of our equipment is going to be packed in this little trailer in the trunk of the car. So on this car, we have to take the tailpipes off to get the slicks on, and it's much nicer inside the car with the tailpipes on for noise. So we put them back on after every changeover, and we have to disconnect the ARB every time to get the exhaust through. There's tabs on the top of the rear end. Let's see. This first pass and test and tune on day 0 is an indicator of what we experience at the track for the next 5 days. If you listen closely, around 5,500 RPM, it sounds like it's hitting a rev limiter or breaking up. Unfortunately, I bumped the camera on this right when I put my helmet on, and I don't have any data. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the air fuel meter trending lean, so I decided to make an adjustment prior to day 1. This is day 1 of 6 summer, and we're already making changes. So I made a bunch of changes to the carburetor last winter for airflow, and we're going to find out today if we've just maxed out our fuel circuit. So we're going up 3 jet sizes all the way around, and we're going to see if the car is happy past the 8th. I wouldn't be surprised if halfway through this trip we put the gasoline metering blocks on and rewrite that tune. We have plenty of driving to do it. We got everything unloaded and then had to go down to the mandatory drivers meeting. This event had class calls. They separated us according to speed and tire rules, and announced when it was time to get in line to go. It took a little while to get there. There's probably about at least 95 cars in the dial your time class. So what I'm going to do is just dial in at 12.0 because lifting at the 8th mile seems to work. I ran a 12.0 yesterday. The car's running a lot better now. We're just going to stick with the 85 and just keep going. That's the story. The car's 60-footed 156, which is a little bit slower, but the track prep isn't as good right now as it was when I tested and tuned yesterday. If you were over a second late on the tree, the difference got added to your total elapsed time. We packed up and left Cordova in search for fuel for the car. We had to drive across the river to Clinton to find an E85 station. Upon filling up a couple cans and the car wouldn't start at the station. We had to push it across over to a Walmart parking lot. We had to wait for it to cool off and tap the starter solenoid to get it to refire. From there, we never shut the car off until we got to our hotel. There is a set route that we have to follow for this event. It's literally like MapQuest instructions. If you miss a turn, you're off the map. The instructions take us to meeting spots where we have to take a picture of our car in front of a landmark or a sign to prove that we drove the car along the route. I had a brand new spare starter with us. Starter comes out the top on this one. So 2 primaries come out, disconnect the electrical, and I will have the starter in and out in 5 minutes after I do all of this first. There was a lot of driving and a lot of scenery on this trip. This first and second day was probably the shortest drives and probably the hottest weather, and the car seemed to do fine. Last night when we changed our starter, I found out that the spare starter was
the wrong part number, so I must have ordered the wrong part number. We ended up cleaning up the old one and putting it back in. It was a little bit of a process, but hung out at the parking lot party, met some new friends, and got it all back together. It hot restarted when we got here, so it's probably going to stay in the car for the next, whenever it fails.
Cruising down the road, the car would run a little bit rich because we were making changes at the track to compensate for an issue that we were having. We ended up doing some roadside rejetting and continued on our way. We were one of the late ones to make it to the next checkpoint. We hung around and then left for the next checkpoint. We made it to the Mars Cheese Castle, and then we made it to our next hotel to finish off day 2.